Voy a contarles un poquito
I'm going to
del
tell you
banco.
a bit about
El
the bank.
banco es un grupo
The bank is a
financiero con
financial
presencia en
group with
Colombia y en la
presence in
región,
Colombia and in the
especialmente
region,
en Centroamérica.
especially in Central
Hoy
America.
nuestros ingresos, el
Today, our income
95%,
is
provienen de
25% come
Centroamérica.
from Central America.
Tenemos más o menos
We have
730
about
mil metros cuadrados en
730,000
los
square
países
meters, which in the
en los
countries
cuales hacemos
in which
presencia.
we are present.
El banco
The
viene
bank
haciendo una propuesta ya hace unos 5 años
has
de
had a
transformación
proposal of
hacia una
transformation
estrategia de
for
una
during
banca más
5 years
humana.
to having a more
Y la realidad
humane
es que si
banking.
hablamos del contexto de
If we talk about the
la banca
concept, the context of
es
the
uno de los
bank,
sectores que
it is
quizás
one
está
of the
viendo las
sectors which
grandes
perhaps is seeing the
transformaciones
great
en cuanto al
transformations
cómo se presta el
with regards
servicio
to how the
y a cómo
service
se
is rendered
visualiza
and
el
how
servicio
the
de hoy, los
service
servicios
is
financieros.
visualized.
Para nadie es raro que hoy
For it
banca
is not a
hace
big secret
cualquiera.
that
Nos prestan en
the
Facebook,
bank does
las almacenes de
anything.
retail nos
We
venden
have
tarjetas de
retail,
crédito,
the
seguros,
retail
préstamos.
offices send sell us a lot of
Google
things online. So
ofrece
the web
servicios
is a big
financieros,
instrument. They offer
las
us financial
billeteras móviles,
services.
las bitcoins,
Mobile, the
empiezan a tener un
bitcoins
peso
are having an
importante.
important
Entonces,
preponderance
yo les podría
now.
decir que la
I
banca
could
es
tell
hoy
you that
lo que hace
bank
unos
is
años
today
fue
what
la
a few
telefonía
years was
fija.
the fixed phone, the
Quizás
landline system.
un
Perhaps
sector
a sector
donde no
where
asumieron lo que se les
they
venía
did
con la
not assume
telefonía
what
móvil,
was coming on
los
with the
móviles,
mobile
y de un
technology and the
momento a
mobile
otro
phones.
estuvieron pues o están
Suddenly, they are
prácticamente
basically
desapareciendo como
landlines are
servicio.
basically disappearing
Entonces
as a
eso ha hecho que
service.
nosotros como compañía
That led us as a
nos
company
repensemos.
to rethink.
Además, con
Apart
un tema de
from that, with
hostilidad,
an
para
hostility issue,
nadie es raro
it
que
is not
después, por
strange
lo menos
that,
en Colombia,
at
después de
least
los
in
servicios
Colombia, after
celulares, la
cellular
banca es uno de
services,
los servicios
the
más
bank is
mal
one of the
calificados a nivel global,
worst
con unos
qualified
grupos
around the
fuertes
world.
detractores
So we
de los
have great
bankers
detractors
que
around
hacen
the
una
world. The
oposición muy
bankers who
fuerte al
have a very
servicio
strong
financiero.
opposition to financial
Entonces,
services.
Bancolombia hace una apuesta en transformar
Bancolombia
la
has a
banca
bet
desde el
on
concepto de
transforming the
transformar,
bank in the
hacer una
concept
banca
of
más humana
having a more
y
humane
hacer una
banking system
empresa
and
no
being
del
a company
país,
not
sino
from the
para el
country but
país.
for the country.
Y eso ha hecho
And that
igualmente que
has
tengamos
made
un
in the same
propósito
way
de
led us to have
transformarle
a
la vida a las
transformation
personas. Y
purpose
hablamos de las
in
personas
terms
que
of the
queremos hablarlo
lives
en
of
general.
people. We want to talk
Queremos
about that in
hablarlo de
general.
los
We
clientes,
want
de
to talk
nuestros
about customers,
empleados,
clients, our
proveedores,
employees,
aliados y todos los
suppliers,
que están
allies, and
en nuestra
all of
organización.
them who are in our
Entonces,
organization.
dando ese contexto, voy a pasar muy
Within
rápidamente por
that
lo que
context,
fue
I'm going
nuestra
to
sede.
go
Voy a
thoroughly
contarles
to
cuáles
what
han
is,
sido los principios que
which have
estamos
been the
trabajando en la
principles we are
transformación,
working
cómo nos
in
hemos movido en temas
transformation,
de movilidad y
how we have
teletrabajo,
moved in terms of
espacios
teleworking,
colaborativos y de esta
collaborative
manera otros
spaces,
proyectos que estamos hoy
and other
haciendo,
projects that we are
en
working on
en un tema donde
in an area
de alguna
where
manera cuando ahorita
when
Carolina hablaba de
Carolina
Microsoft,
talked about
pues muchas cosas son
Microsoft,
muy normales en
many
el mundo
things
de
are
las
normal
consultorías
now in the
tecnológicas. Pues
consultancy
han sido
area now.
pioneros
They
del
have been pioneers of
teletrabajo,
teleworking
Microsoft,
with
Cisco,
Mike,
HP, de
Cisco,
modelos de trabajo
HP,
diferentes.
different
Pero ¿qué es
working
más
models.
conservador que un banco?
But what is more
Digan la verdad,
conservative than a bank?
¿cierto? Es más, nosotros apenas nos
Okay,
quitamos
we
la
just
corbata hace 3 años
removed our
y,
ties from our
y los
suits
hombres pues
3 years ago.
felices en la
Men are very
organización desde
happy
que se
at
tomó
our
esa decisión.
organization because we made
Pero
that
toda la
decision of
gente se
removing our
imagina
ties.
un banquero,
But
un
we all
señor de
picture a
corbata,
banker, a
muy
man with a
elegante,
tie, very
tradicional,
elegant,
cerrado.
traditional,
Entonces,
closed.
cambiar un banco
So
pues ha sido otro
changing a
ejercicio
bank
que
is
también
another
nos ha tocado desde la
exercise that we
gestión
have
del
had to
FM y
do from the
diferentes.
FM.
En, básicamente nosotros en
Basically,
lo que es el
with
headquarter de
regards to the
nosotros que es Medellín,
headquarter in
tenemos más o menos
Medellin,
9.000
we have
empleados
9,000
e hicimos un
employees.
proyecto para tener
We
una
had
sede
a
corporativa.
project to have a corporate
Nunca pensamos en que fuera la única
facilities. We
sede
never thought that it
corporativa
was going to be
por
our
temas de
only
continuidad del negocio.
facilities.
Siempre hemos sentido que
Due to the
teníamos que estar en
continuity of
varias
the
sedes.
business, we
Pero
needed to
finalmente
be in
logramos
several
hacer
places.
uno de
So
los
we managed to
edificios
have one of
que
the
muchos
buildings which
conocen, pues
some
emblemático
of
en la ciudad de
us
Medellín.
know in Medellin.
Son
We have
135.000 metros cuadrados,
135,000
78
square
mil
meters,
metros cuadrados de
78,000
oficina, que
square
fue
meters of
diseñado
offices,
inicialmente para alojar
designed
4.000
to
personas. Un
house
pequeño
4,000
municipio
people. It's a small
dentro de un solo
municipality
edificio.
within one
Es
building.
administrar una
It's
pequeña
to manage
población.
a small
Realmente
population,
tiene
really. You
alcaldesa,
have the
diaria,
mayor,
tenemos
you
policía,
have the
inspección, no nos
police,
falta sino la cárcel.
inspection. We just
O
need the
acordarnos de
prison.
no cumplan las
So,
normas.
so We have speed limits and everything in a small, we have in a small population. It's a project which was very fast track between the execution and moving was 2 years to construct 135,000 square meters. My first message, however, it's a building is not a fixed asset. I think that's the worst name we could give to a building. To me, it's a living being. So, and it has to adapt. You finish the project. I would like to, as the person from Mexico said, in 3 years we could have changes. But 1 year after I moved 1,500 people from their positions. 1 year after, I was purchasing El Salvador and I had to reshuffle the organization within the branch. As fixed, that has nothing really, fixed assets. So today, we have 4,600 workstations between suppliers and employees. We are auditing in the building 5,700 people per day. We are auditing them. This is a logistics issue to manage access, parking lots, the heating of the lounge, and everything. We, the project, we have an access execution, we have main nucleus, we have a luminosity concept. We don't start of being certified in construction as new, but we're certified in operation and maintenance. We designed this with the concept to be certified, and the fast track did not allow us to do it at the time. But today, obviously, we have an interpretation now. So, and we had a first certification in Latin America. This was a building conceived from inside to outside. It was a module, 6 feet by 6 feet building. So we had a lot of flexibility. We have a lot of changes. So the air infrastructure, electrical infrastructure, illumination infrastructure. So perfectly, I think this aisle here, I could turn it into another 8 working station, and I don't have to move anything. And it is designed to have the electrical power capacity in the floor, on the floor, to become working stations. We made an initial movement of 3,263 collaborators. This was done in 10 weeks. And of course, this is a place where we said that we are not going to go to work at the bank, we're just going to go to the bank to live. This was the basic thing, but really today we feel that there are some triggers of change which are not just for the bank but also for the industry and in terms of the office. One is the working environment, the other one has to do with the technology dynamics of work team and the efficiency report per year and sometimes the reduction on budget. Sometimes you have to do more with less. But this has to be aligned with the strategy of the company, and this is a message that was not at the beginning. FM is key for the company when it manages to aim at the guidelines and strategic vision that the company has. In terms of the environment, there are many things, just materials, saving of materials. So the issue of mobility is key. If we want to aim at improving our employees' life, we need to facilitate flexible solutions in terms of shift. So, but also these affect the environment. Distances in cities are starting to consume time. Even I like this space here. I had the opportunity to work here in 2006 when Professor William Amy, who said that for Bogota it was better to have a restriction, transit restriction for people and not for the car, because people have 2 or 3 cars per day, and we continue with the same
El tema
problem.
de la
The
tecnología, el
technology
detonante
issue,
obviamente es el
the
gran
trigger
transformador de lo que hoy
is a
nos pasa,
gateway transformer of
es el que ha
what's
hecho que
going
hoy podamos
on
hablar de
today.
estaciones
So today we're going
libres,
to talk about free
de que somos
station.
nómadas
We are
corporativos, de que
corporate
tenemos soluciones
nomads, that
móviles.
we have
Créanme
mobile
que eso en una
solutions.
organización
Believe me,
financiera
in a
no es
financial
tan fácil.
organization, that's not easy.
Nosotros no podemos tener información del
We cannot
cliente en
have
iPad
customers'
corriendo por
information on
cualquier
iPad
parte.
moving everywhere.
Entonces,
So,
realmente transformarnos al
so
esquema de
to transform
movilidad
to a
desde el
mobility
punto de lo
scheme
que
from the
somos como
standpoint of what
banco
we are as a
no es tan
bank,
fácil
it's
como
not
llevar, por
as
ejemplo, de
easy as
pronto
like
a un
taking
sistema
going to
tecnológico o un
a
tema de
technological
servicios
system,
que no
service
tienen el
system which
tema
doesn't
de la
have
seguridad
the
como principio,
the
digamos, rector en muchas
safety
de sus
issues
decisiones.
as relevant.
El tema de las generaciones,
The
pues por
generations,
primera vez en la
well,
oficina
for first
estamos
time in the
conviviendo
office
tres
we're
generaciones,
living, we
casi
have
nunca
three
convivíamos tres
generations.
generaciones al
We
tiempo,
seldom had
éramos
that.
máximo dos,
We were
los
maximum
viejitos y
two
los
of them,
jóvenes, hoy
the
tenemos
old,
hasta
the
tres,
elderly, and the teenagers or the
y ellos
youngsters. Today
cada
we have
uno con
three
necesidades
generations.
espaciales
All of us
diferentes,
have different
funcionales
space needs,
diferentes.
functional
El que
needs
hablábamos
that
del
are
profesor
different.
que no se va a dejar quitar su
So
oficina en la
professor
universidad
is not
ayer en
gonna
el
let
foro,
anyone take away
o
his
al
office
que decíamos en la oficina
at
del
the university.
Morral,
No.
¿cierto? Pero en el banco
So,
tenemos esa
but at the
situación
bank we
y
have that
tenemos un tema,
situation, and we have
es
an
que hoy
issue.
tenemos una población
That today we
realmente
have
joven,
a
es una
very young
población millennial.
population, is
Nuestro
millennial
promedio de edad
population.
está en 33
Our
años.
average age is in
Cuando tú ingresas
33
al
years of
banco,
age. When I entered the bank,
la mayoría de mis compañeros
most of
llevaban 20,
my
25 años
friends
en el
were
banco,
20,
¿cierto?
25
Ellos
years
eran
in the
empresas
bank, so
donde uno
that
decía, ay,
they
no,
were
usted
companies you
consiguió
say, hey,
trabajo para
listen, you
quedarse
got
toda
a
la vida,
job
¿no?
for
Ya hoy
life there.
nadie se quiere quedar
So
toda la vida
today,
y menos en una
no one
organización
wants
como
to
la
stay in an
nuestra.
organization like
Y
ours, for
tenemos un
example.
cambio
We
generacional
have a generational change,
importante.
which is
Entonces, por
important.
un lado,
On the
tenemos un
one
banco
hand, we have a
que tiene que
bank
cambiar,
which has to
tiene que ser
change,
enfocado a las personas,
focused
tiene que
on people.
transformarse
They need to transform
tecnológicamente,
technologically.
tenemos que ofrecer banca digital,
So
servicios
we have
digitales,
digital
cada vez más
banking,
soluciones en
digital
teléfonos,
services,
cada vez
provide
tenemos que
more
crear
solutions
más
on the
proyectos,
phones, we
y
have
por el
more
otro lado
projects, and
tenemos
on
una
the other
población
hand,
joven que
we have a
administrar.
young population to manage.
¿Qué nos ha pasado desde los otros
What has
aspectos?
happened
Pues
from the
obviamente por las
other
dinámicas de
issues,
trabajo
from the
estamos
working
hablando de
dynamics? We're talking
colaborativo
about
y
collaborative work,
espontáneo,
spontaneous.
estamos hablando de alta
We're talking
movilidad
about
dentro de
high
la
mobility
organización,
within the
estamos hablando de que
organization.
estamos teniendo
We're
trabajo en diferentes
having work
locaciones,
in different
tenemos que
locations.
implementar
We need to
y seguir
implement
aportando
and
temas de
continue
flexibilidad,
providing flexibility,
transformar el banco a
transform the
medición por
bank
resultados.
measured
Éramos
in
todavía de un
results.
tipo de
We
liderazgo
were had a
muy de
type of
horas de trabajo, a qué
leadership
horas
which
entras,
was
a qué horas
hours of
sales,
work, what time
pero
you enter,
no
what
tanto
time you
por
leave, but
resultados.
not as
Y
focused
todo
on
el tema,
results.
obviamente,
And
que
of
tiene que
course,
ver de ver
the
un
whole
jefe no
thing
como jefe,
regarding
sino
with the
trabajar el
boss, not as a
concepto
boss, but
de
also working with the
mentor y de
concept
coach.
of
En la
coaching and mentoring.
infraestructura, pues nuestros
In
costos de
infrastructure,
implementación son
our
muy
costs of
altos.
implementation are very high.
Nosotros
We
tenemos costos en edificios
we
nuevos
have
de
costs in new
47
buildings of
millones de pesos en
47
estación de
million
trabajo
for
y en
workstation,
edificios en arriendo de
and
28
in
millones de pesos
leasing
estación de
and
trabajo.
rentals we
Entonces,
have
también
28.
teníamos unos
So
retos
we
de
had big
transformar
challenges to
porque no
transform,
solo las compañías
because
podemos seguir
not only the
creciendo a punta
companies
de
could
crecer
continue growing
metros
just for
cuadrados de
growing
cemento,
in
sino que
square
también
meters
tenemos que
of
ver cómo
cement,
optimizamos el
but
portafolio
also
que
we need to
tenemos.
see how we optimize the
Y
portfolio we have.
teníamos un tema de
And
movilidad
we had a
que yo al
mobility issue,
principio
which
casi
at
me
the
dio un infarto
beginning
cuando vi
I
esa
almost
cifra.
infarted,
Nosotros tenemos una
because
torre que permanece
we had a
desocupada
tower which is
42%
basically
y otra torre que
empty
permanece
42% and another
desocupada un
tower which is empty
53% del tiempo
53% of the
por
time
hora.
per hour.
Entonces tenía
So I
1.900
had
personas por hora que no estaban
1900
sentadas en
people
sus
per hour
estaciones de
who were
trabajo.
not sitting at the
Entonces la pregunta
workstation.
es,
So
¿y
the
dónde
question was,
están? No,
where
pues
are
¿dónde está
they?
el abuelito?
Where is it? Where are they?
Y obviamente o están en salas de
Obviously, they're
reuniones, o
in
están por fuera
meetings,
del
out of
edificio,
the
o están con
building,
clientes, o
they're with the
están en
customer,
entrenamiento, o
or
están
they're in
en
training,
transformación, o
or
están viajando.
transformation, they're traveling.
Pero entonces yo dije, no,
But then I
soy
said,
anormal.
okay,
Pero
I'm
la verdad les
abnormal. But
encontré ya
honestly, I
referentes de
found
industria,
reference
un
in
estudio
industries,
reciente,
a recent
y no,
study,
en el sector financiero,
and the
esto se
financial
llama el trabajo
sector, this
vertical
is called
horizontal,
vertical
generalmente
horizontal
se llama un
work.
40-60,
No,
o
this
sea,
is
no
called
está
a
tan mal.
40-60, so
O
I wasn't
sea,
that bad.
realmente sí es un
So really, yes,
60%
actually, this is a
de personas
60% of
ocupadas y un
people who are busy and
40% de
40% of
movilidad.
people of
Entonces
mobility.
eso me ponía también unos
So
retos muy
that
grandes porque
posed
acá es
some
un edificio,
challenges to
ya
me,
lo tenés lleno,
because
tenés
you have
relativamente
a building
vacío,
that was full, but it was
gastando
relatively
aire,
empty,
iluminación y un montón
or
de
you're
cosas, pero
spending
los
air,
costos y funcionalidad están
power,
vacíos.
lights,
Entonces, ¿qué
illumination.
empezamos a trabajar?
So what did
El
we start start working with. The third point, the mobility and teleworking. We implemented, based on the Colombian standard, two modalities. The first company in Colombia starting the implementation of teleworking. We signed the agreement of being for the MINTIC and generating the implementation. We have been references for this.
suplementarios
So
son 2
we
o 3
have
días en
some
la casa
supplementary
y los
areas, two or
otros
three
2 o
days
3
in the
días en el
house,
banco.
and the other 2 or 3 days in the bank. So we
Móviles
mix
están
them.
en cualquier lugar,
Mobiles
la
are
casa
everywhere.
y el banco es una
So the
estación
house and the
adicional.
bank is an
Y
additional
hicimos pues
station.
obviamente todo un
And
proceso
we developed the
que hemos
whole
llamado
process of what we have called
movilidad.
mobility.
Hoy, ¿cómo estamos?
Today,
En la
what is the
misma
status
sede
today? In
desde
the
la
same
gestión de la
branch from
movilidad
the
hemos
mobility
logrado
management area,
374
we have
puestos optimizados.
worked,
Tenemos
optimized 374
382 teletrabajadores
workstations. We
suplementarios y
have
723 teletrabajadores
882
móviles, o sea, ya
teleworkers who are
estamos por
supplementary and
encima del 100 teletrabajadores.
723
En una compañía
mobile
bancaria es
workers.
importante, el
So
Bank of
for a bank, that's
America
important. Bank of
es uno de los
America
bancos que tiene
is one of the
implementación de
banks who
teletrabajo y
has
tiene
a teleworking
200
station. They have 200
teletrabajadores. Los
teleworkers.
otros bancos que hemos
The
logrado
other banks we
referenciar
have
son de
reference are
teletrabajadores
from
30,
teleworkers, so 30,
40,
40,
50 personas.
50
O
people.
sea, hemos logrado ser un
So
banco
we have managed to
referente
be a
dentro de la
reference
banca en el
within the
tema de
banking
implementación de
industry
teletrabajo.
in terms of teleworking implementation.
Luego, el teletrabajo en sí
Then
solo y la
teleworking
movilidad pues
itself
tiene
and
que
mobility, they
acompañarse de
have
la
to go
transformación
hand
de
in
la
hand with the
infraestructura.
transformation of
Y un
infrastructure.
edificio acabado de hacer en el
And
2008,
building
tuve
just
que
finished in
hablar con Alemán al
2008, we
financiero y
have to
decirle,
say,
pues
okay,
sí, lo vamos a tener que
okay,
volver a tocar.
we have to, sorry, we
Porque
have to refurbish
realmente
it somehow in a
cuando
few
tú vas a la
years.
oficina, pues
Because
no
when you
vas
go
a
to the office, you
sentarte
don't go
en
there
una
to
estación de
sit in a
trabajo, tú vas a
workstation.
interactuar con tus
You
compañeros,
are going to interact
a,
with your
a entrar en
workmates,
reuniones. Entonces
to
el
have
espacio
meetings.
que
So the
habíamos hecho muy
space that we had
conservador,
said
muy
it was very
rígido,
conservative,
pues
very
empezó a
rigid,
no funcionar, a
began
moverse.
not to work.
Y hemos venido entonces
So we
en
have
un
been
proyecto de colaboración
working
empezando
in
con
a
un diagnóstico,
cooperation
porque no quisimos irnos a la loca
project.
simplemente a comprar
We didn't want to
sofacitos
go
y
there and
cubos,
buy sofas and
sino
pull-ups and
a
all
ver
that.
qué
No,
era
we
colaborar en el
wanted to
Grupo
see what it
Bancolombia, o
meant
sea,
to
cómo
cooperate in
entendíamos la
Bancolombia team,
colaboración.
how we understood
Además que en
collaboration.
simultaneidad se nos estaban dando grandes
Simultaneously,
cambios de
we
la
were having
forma de
great
trabajo en la
changes in the
organización.
way of
Nosotros
working
tenemos
in the
hoy,
organization.
estamos trabajando varios
So
temas
we're
que son
working several issues
disruptivos,
which are
estamos
disruptive.
trabajando robótica en
We're working with
procesos.
robotics in
Entonces,
processes.
ya procesos
So
robotizados, entonces
robotized,
eso no
automated
puede tener la
processes, you
misma
cannot have
gestión
the
ni
same
son las mismas
management
personas que lideran
and the
procesos
same people leading
robotizados.
the processes.
Tenemos toda la metodología
We have
Agile o el
all the
Scrum para
methodology
desarrollo
there
de innovación
to
de
develop
toda la transformación
innovation,
digital.
all the digital
Entramos con todo el
transformation.
tema del Lean Six
We start with
Sigma,
all
ya
in
pues
Six
todo el concepto
Sigma,
también de
which we
células de
start with the
trabajo.
work
Y
cells,
entonces eso empezó a
and that
hacer
began to
que
be
lo que
to
teníamos ya tampoco
make
nos
us
daba
so, because
solución a
what
lo
we
que
had was
necesitábamos.
not enough because it didn't
Y
solve what we
ustedes han
had.
visto, o no sé
So
si
you have
lo
seen,
sienten, nosotros sí
I don't know if you have
sentimos
felt it,
la velocidad
we
acelerada
feel
que
the
están teniendo las
accelerated
transformaciones en cuanto a servicios
speed that
financieros.
we have.
Cada mes,
Each
uno de
month,
los bancos,
one of the banks,
nuestro,
one
de
of
nosotros o
our
de los
banks,
competidores, saca al mercado algo
so you
distinto.
take out, they launch in the market something different,
Llámese una app,
be it an
llámese mejoramiento del
application,
app,
improvement of the
llámese producto
app,
digital,
so
llámese
digital
cualquier
product,
sistema de medio de pago,
any
pero alguien está
payment
sacando
means
mínimo
system.
una vez al mes un
So
tema.
once a
Ya lo
month
que
there
no
is
se daba en
something
la banca.
there. So we
La
did not
banca no
have that in the
tenía
bank.
ese dinamismo
We did not have
transformacional.
that
Éramos fuertes en
dynamism.
tecnología, pero en
We were
tecnología
strong in
robustas,
technology, but
pesadas,
robust
para hacer muchas
technology.
transacciones,
So
pero
to
no
run a
en
lot of
tecnología
the
ágil
transactions, but
ni
not
tampoco en,
agile.
entonces esto también el espacio tiene que
So the
acompañar esa
space has
estrategia.
to
Hicimos un
accompany
piloto,
the
obviamente,
strategy.
pues una cosa es
So
lo
the
que
pilot
las
was this.
personas, la
So one
P,
thing is that
sienten que el
people,
banco era en
they
colaboración,
felt that the banking
otra que ven que es el
cooperation,
banco,
they
pues había unos gaps
see the
hacia
bank,
futuro que eran
but then we had
básicamente
gaps towards the
trabajar más
future where
con
we needed to work with
incertidumbre
more
y poco de
uncertainty
los
levels
banqueros, el
typical
riesgo
from the
controlado,
bankers, the
entonces éramos
control
pegados
risks.
pues a la
So we
seguridad.
were attached to the security
Teníamos
and
que trabajar un
safety.
poco más
So we had to
en
work
bajarle el
in
contexto,
reducing the
es
context,
que había que
is
contarle
that
a
we
los
had to tell to many
las
people
cosas para poder sacar
things to
adelante
be
los
able
proyectos.
to push
Entonces
our
empezamos a hacer
projects
este
forward.
diagnóstico,
So
hicimos
we began to
obviamente
diagnose.
unas decisiones
We made
en
some
cuanto a
decisions with
qué era
regards to
colaborar, qué era el concepto de colaboración,
cooperation,
cómo lo
collaboration, and
entendíamos
how what we
y
understood by that.
básicamente
And
que íbamos a
basically,
trabajar en
what we
cuanto a
were going to
metros
work with
cuadrados
regards to square
eficientes, en
meters
crear y colaborar para
between
todos,
using,
en
creating and
renovarnos y
cooperate
en
for
implementar
everyone to
reuniones más
renew ourselves and
casuales.
have more casual
Y
meetings.
empezamos obviamente a hacer algunos
And we
pilotos
began having some
donde
pilots
tenemos algunos conceptos in
where we have
between
some
dentro de las
concepts in
oficinas,
between,
unos
in
espacios
the
de
offices,
café,
some coffee
teníamos unos
spaces.
espacios donde
We had some
necesitábamos
space
implementar
where we
salas de
needed to
creación,
implement
cambiar esas
some
esperas
rooms,
que teníamos
change the
por
spheres
otras
that we
esperas
had
más
there for
activas
the waiting
y
lounges,
darle
for more
solución
active
obviamente al tema del
waiting
teletrabajo.
lounges.
Y hemos empezado a
And
hacer
we
una
began
transformación
doing a
donde empezamos a
transformation
definir un
where we
master plan,
began
es
with a
empezarle a
master
decir a ese
plan,
organismo cómo se
telling
puede
your
mover
organization, how you can move. and we began having some implementations, like a pilot that we massified that that's what we're doing now. Since we're the white table area, we started transforming them in more working stations. This was the same space. The in-between is basically what was before, and we created these working spaces for short cycles, decision-making processes, immediate team meetings. Help! Okay. It's projected there, but I'm there. Okay. Sorry about that. I was scared. These are the spaces that were proposed to serve to give attention to the teleworkers. They have storage areas, and they are able with that. They don't have fixed allocation for the workers. We began transforming the rooms where they were pretty structured. So we began incorporating creative rooms. So they gave us some aspects of transformation. They are more interactive spaces. We performed measurements in 64% of the spaces that were closed. The ratings were very high, the rates. So the development of creativity, that's normal. It is not easy to lead one organization to feel better and you're more creative just by buying some puffs. No, we have change management issues to deal with. That's what we were doing with these teams, but we began noticing that we were having a better trend. And obviously, we had some contributions, generational contributions. Some people felt comfortable, uncomfortable. So from there, we made some decisions. These, obviously, some of our findings, we saw how people could start finding the space, how they use the space. They began adopting new positions, new postures. So this was never, when I was at the bank, this would have been tolerable, admissible. No. So that would not be allowed, never. So we began to see that, yes, there are people in which the spaces we thought they were common. We found that there are people who they like the use of spaces for changing the working scheme and go working in that individual space, but in a different space. We noticed that there were some issues, some aspects we could implement. What did we do? What we have done is to take these learned lessons, not just within the building, but also in the projects we've been implementing in Colombia and in the region. And we've tried, obviously, to capitalize the learning issue. We had the Innovation Center for the group. This is a project which has come out very well. This is a project where just only 10% are employees from Bancolombia. 90% are basically entrepreneurs, innovation groups, customers, and route and groups. So innovation platform in Medellin has worked. We have a special space to create differently because the bank, honestly, we created inside and we forgot the customer. Today we are creating with the customer in mind. These are the spaces. They start being like this at the Innovation Center. This is after the pilot and the work that was developed and implemented. This is a banking core project. We are changing the whole core. So this is a software that somehow needs to be updated and tuned up for the future of the organization. So this is a team where we are all working in the collaborative, cooperative work. 170 posts is 340 people working in the posts and rooms. There are 9 nationalities. Most of them, we have Hindus, Americans, Mexicans, Spanish. The majority, yes, are from everywhere, but basically we speak English and Spanish or signals, meta language there. So this is a space where we have had we have had to do different things. A product in the bank would take about a year to go out. With these working changes, the product would be out in 3 months. It used to take 1 year, so we are disrupting how we are creating, but not just because we had a little table. No, no, Dinas, along with the strategy, with all the change management structure, to see how we were working differently in the work groups. This is digital transformation, so project schemes. So we all work this from the service design perspective, is the methodology of design thinking for service design. So these are spaces where the customer goes and tells us, okay, we listen to him, we transform so we can be able to hit the target in terms of satisfaction, customer satisfaction, and they may have a better usage level. The first app it took us 2 years to launch it. So next year it was 4 months. So people say, okay, the app is better every time. So I use the cell phone more than any other thing. And we love people going to the bank. I hope we go to the banks, but we need to transform so they go more to technical advisory than just to proceed with transactions. The customer finally wants the bank to be where he is. He doesn't want to go to the bank. No one likes going to the bank. Things that they don't like doing, you just get up in the morning and go to the bank to deposit the money. So that's something not everyone likes. Okay, yeah, that's not even on the list. And this is a project which is in execution for 2,000 people. It's a project where we are talking about one step ahead, where we're not just talking about post work position, but workstation. We have a great percentage of people who are not going to have a fixed allocation of workstations. It's going to be a great number of spaces without fixed allocations. We have a lot of collaboration spaces, but they're starting being used by those who actually need them. So we are not integrating in silos, the finance area. No, here we are working per product. So we're going to have channels. So payment means those are the ones who pay in risk, who work in risk. All those who work in payment means they have a transformational change in the organization to really shorten and improve the times in terms of services and decisions. So this is what I wanted to share with you, how we're doing the transformation in Bancolombia Group.